In today's video, I want to talk about a DIY project I've been working on. In a previous video, I talked about taking down some upper cabinets in a kitchen that was over a peninsula-style bar. In that video, you can see that I took down the cabinets and a drywall fur down, and it did leave me with a finished ceiling. Now there was some damage to the ceiling, so I'm going to have to patch up that damage, repaint the ceiling, and also finish out the end of the cabinets where I left a gaping hole in the fur down. So stick around for today's video. I'm going to tell you what I did. If you're new to this channel, welcome. I hope you will like and subscribe. This channel does videos about different topics, and I hope it's things that you'll enjoy and encourage you. Subscribing to a YouTube channel is free. Hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when the next video is published. Now to today's video. I don't know about you, but when I go to YouTube to try to find an answer to a DIY question, I don't want a long video. I want someone to just tell me what I need to do. So in this video, I'm going to try to keep it short. I did remove some upper cabinets. It wasn't very difficult. You can go back and watch that 12-minute video where I talk about kind of things not to do and what to do and why I did what I did. But to explain to you about taking down upper cabinets, the main thing to remember is put something underneath those cabinets so when the cabinet starts coming down, it doesn't damage your countertops or hurt you as it's falling. The other thing is try to remove them in one piece if you're strong enough and you want to reuse those cabinets. Also, the way you take something down is you're going to remove the outer moldings and trim pieces first to expose those nails so you can get those off the wall. Now if you want to watch that video, I'd love for you to, but I removed myself. I'm just a average sized woman, but I just got up on a ladder and stood on the bar a little bit and removed the cabinets from the wall, or the ceiling from the ceiling, and then also removed all that drywall. It exposed my popcorn ceiling, but it's not super popcorny. I mean, I just don't want to go through the hassle of removing all that texture from the ceiling. So I'm just going to try to patch it, and you'll see here the product I use to try to patch my ceiling. It does not look perfect, but I think it's good enough for me. I would have loved to have been able to find a drywall man or woman to come in and do this for me and paint my ceilings. But I was doing this over the holidays. I bought this spackle and then also bought this spray to texturize ceilings. And that's what I did. And it's not perfect, but it looks okay. In a previous video, I think I said I had 10-foot ceilings, but I really think my ceilings are 9 feet. But they're taller than that average 8-foot ceiling. They are taller than most ceilings, and I really don't think people look straight up at this ceiling, so I'm just not worried about it being perfect. So I did put a little spackle. I added the texture. When that dried, I did repaint my ceilings. I used a Glidden ceiling paint that's pink and then turns white. It was a little more expensive. I think it was around $30 a gallon versus just the Glidden ceiling paint that's just white and dries to white. It was maybe $26 a gallon. I think it was worth it because it's so much easier to see where you've already painted. When you're painting white on white, even though the white is dingy, you sometimes get lost on what you've already painted and you'll miss spots. So I think it's worth it. This Glidden ceiling paint that's pink when it's wet and then dries white. I do think it's worth the extra $4 a gallon if you're doing it yourself. And now to talk about how I finished off the edges of the cabinet. I saved some of the drywall that I had taken down. I cut it to fit the holes and attached it with drywall screws. I didn't trust myself just patching these corners with some sheetrock mud, so I went with trim. I used corner molding trim from Home Depot for the edges and just a straight piece of trim for the front. I didn't measure correctly and I actually had to cut it twice, so there's a splice in here that I'm embarrassed about. I wish it were one piece, but because I used flat paint, it hides those imperfections very well. Now, typically when you're painting cabinets, you want to use a satin or semi-gloss paint because it's harder. But when I did paint it the first time with typical semi-gloss cabinet paint, and that shine really accentuated all the flaws and mistakes I made. So I went back with a flat white, and I think it looks so much better. And because this part of my kitchen is not going to get a lot of abuse, not many people are going to be touching this, I think it'll be fine with the flat paint. And I don't know if I took, maybe I do have a picture of it painted both ways, but it's just incredible how much better it looks with the flat paint versus the satin or semi-gloss. Having that sheen is going to accentuate flaws, and the flat paint is going to hide flaws. So that's my big tip for you today. You're not great at finish work, which I am not. Try to use a flat paint. It will definitely hide imperfections. You can see the first time I painted it, I got a paint that was tinted to match my existing kitchen paint. I think this paint is called Elephant's Tusk, and I painted it years ago. I just took a piece of the drywall with me to Home Depot, and they mixed a quart of paint to match this paint. So I painted the end cap with that Elephant Tusk paint. And then I have the trim painted white. I hated it. I thought it looked so tacky with the white and the yellow. It just looked awful to me. And it looked very DIY. It looked very amateurish. So I decided to paint the entire side of my cabinets, even the sheetrock, white. So the whole end of this wall is painted white. So it just appears that it's part of the cabinet, not drywall. And I think it looks a lot better. What do you think? Comment down below. Did you like the sheetrock painted the wall color, or do you like it now that I've painted it white? And remember, I used a flat white to hide my imperfections. I am very happy with this project. I am not a professional carpenter. You guys would laugh if I told you what my profession was, but I'm not a carpenter. But I love trying things myself, doing things myself, and I was so sick of those upper cabinets over that bar that I took them down myself. I patched the ceiling myself, I patched the end of the cabinet myself, and I painted myself. I even painted the kitchen ceiling myself using that Glidden paint from Walmart. Well, it's not perfect, but I think it looks fine. I love this old house. I've had this house over 30 years now. I like it. Maybe one of these days I'll hire some professionals to come in and retexturize my ceilings and paint again. But for right now, it looks fine. And I actually enjoyed doing it. I think it was good exercise for me painting those ceilings. I was using muscles in my triceps and in my shoulders that I don't think I've been using in a while because I was a little sore after painting these ceilings. But if you want to try to remove cabinets, paint your own kitchen ceiling, trim out a project, you can do it. Watch a few videos and remember, safety first. Until next time, bye.